Alright, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a whole bunch of good crypto news stuff for you today. And the first thing that I want to talk about is that, unsurprisingly, Monero's hash rate plummets over 80% after the hard fork curbs ASIC mining once again. So with the implementation of Kryptonite R, Monero is once again a GPU slash kind of maybe CPU mineable. So the hash rate of the Monero network recently plummeted over a hard fork that curbed the presence of ASICs on the privacy-centric cryptocurrency blockchain. According to a post on Reddit, the cryptocurrency's hash rate could have dropped as much as 95% after the hard fork. Press time, it's unclear how the network was truly affected, as most platforms haven't yet factored in the drop. The drop has so far been about 83%, from 1.3 gigahash to about 210 megahash or so. You can see the massive drop there right after the fork. So anybody mining Monero definitely would want to switch it up to Kryptonite R. Otherwise, you're mining some, just forked coin at the moment. There's probably a numerous amount of forked coins. Once again, hash rate dropped following through a war on ASICs declared roughly a year ago. At that time, the cryptocurrency released a software update that stopped ASICs when Antminer X3s came out. And so the X-Miner, in case you guys didn't remember that story, that was juicy sauce. So basically, for a year, it was suspected that either botnets or ASICs were on the network. Nobody really knew because the hash rate was just incredibly, incredibly high. And you could see it in the charts that it just basically went like this nearly a year before the Antminer X3 was actually announced. And then on Twitter, the Monero devs were like, hey, we're going to fork the network. We're going to fork it, we're going to change the algorithm a little bit and get rid of all these ASICs or whatever these are, botnets or whatever we suspect is on the network, because nobody knew at the time. And then days later, Antminer X3 comes out. Bitmain is like, hey, look, we got Antminer X3s, and they were literally selling them for $12,000 a pop. And then within like a week, it was $8,000, and then a few weeks later, it was like $3,000, and then even cheaper after that. So, the interesting thing is that if you actually buy the Antminer X3, it wouldn't ship out till 3 or 4 months later at the time, and that would have been a couple months, maybe even 3 months after the fork. So you wouldn't actually be mining the real Monero, you'd be mining all of the forks that were left behind and anything else that was left on the Kryptonite algorithm, which honestly wasn't many good coins, to be quite frank. So it was quite the fiasco. It was quite the scandal indeed, that it was clear that Bitmain was mining on their own miners, and then right after the fork, boom, the hash rate dumped like a rock. So clearly Bitmain likes to mine on their own miners for a long time and then sell you their used miners when they're done with them, in the same way that if you had a tree growing in your backyard and it was a money tree, and every day it grew $100 on it, and you plucked it, and the next day it would be $100. So of course you wouldn't want to sell your money tree. Why would you sell it? And what would you sell it for? Of course, you'd have to sell it for an exorbitant amount of money. So what you would do instead is wait till the tree gets a little bit old and it's only producing $50 a day on the tree. So then you say, okay, I'm going to sell my tree now for $10,000, for thousands and thousands, or maybe even $1 million when you've already lost that amount of money. So maybe it wasn't the best example ever, but that's basically ASICs. We've never seen, I don't think in the history of technology we've seen money-making machines, other than, well, maybe the central banks or something like that. But either way, we've never seen money-making machines like this until GPUs and ASICs. And then, so why would you sell them if they're making $200 a day? Of course, Bitmain isn't going to sell them if they have thousands or tens of thousands of them running in a warehouse. You would only sell them just before somebody was about to fork away from that algorithm, or they weren't making that much money because the difficulty was too high. Then you sell them, then you produce the next thing. So interesting. Monero hash rate plummets. So moving on, OneCoin Ponzi scam ringleaders charged in the United States, and I want to show you it's these two people here. So these, I guess this is brother and sister apparently, and they're the OneCoin Ponzi scam ringleaders that made a lot of money and never cashed out or anything. So Ruja Ignatova created OneCoin in Bulgaria, which is the woman in the picture, in 2014, and it generated $3.8 billion in revenue by Q3 2016, according to prosecutors. The OneCoin tokens rose an alleged value from 50 euro cents to nearly 30 euro dollars, despite the fact that, or euros, whatever, despite the fact that digital currency had no blockchain, no utility, and no way of monitoring. In classic Ponzi, it relied on a constant flow of money from new investors, which existing members received commissions for recruiting. And the cryptocurrency media quickly called out OneCoin as a MLM pyramid scheme, and authorities followed suit in an increasing number of countries. However, the project soldiered on, even going as far as to announce an initial public offering in early 2017. But before this could happen, Ruja disappeared from the public eye, with her brother Konstantin taking the reins in 2018. So Konstantin Ignatova's arrest at the Los Angeles International Airport was on charges of conspiring to commit wire fraud. Authorities have also indicted Ruja in absentia for money laundering and wire and securities fraud. So as alleged, these defenders created a multi-billion-dollar cryptocurrency market company based completely on lies and deceit. They promised big returns and minimal risk, but as alleged, this business was a pyramid scheme based on smoke and mirrors more than zeros and ones. So scamming till the very end. Prior to his arrest, Ignatov had traveled to the United States to meet OneCoin affiliates. During a meeting in Los Angeles, one asked when members would be able to cash out their OneCoin. His response was, "If you were here to cash out, leave this room now because you don't understand what this project is about." I think that makes you know what the project is about after hearing that. I think as soon as you hear that, no, you answered the question. You answered the question. We won't be able to cash out. So it's kind of like you answered the question with a statement. You know what I mean? One of those type deals. This was possibly the most brutally honest advice OneCoin investors ever received. If found guilty, Ignatov's charges carries a maximum sentence of 20 years. However, if his sister is caught, then her combined charges could see her spend 80 years behind bars. So essentially life. So, yeah, OneCoin. Good old Ponzi schemes. So Craig Wright gets caught lying about being Satoshi Nakamoto. Not the first time. So even more on the story here. So Craig Wright, the founder of nChain, the leader of Bitcoin SV, a fork of Bitcoin Cash, which is a fork of Bitcoin, movement, has been long a controversial figure in the crypto space. This controversy all started when his claim was in fact Satoshi Nakamoto, the anonymous inventor of Bitcoin. And after years of making this claim, new evidence seems to suggest what many already knew. Craig has been lying. He's not the real Satoshi. So to prove his bold claim to be Satoshi, Wright released an abstract of a research paper called BlackNet that he supposedly wrote for the Australian government back in 2001. This abstract is identical to Satoshi Nakamoto's Bitcoin white paper published in October 2008. There was, however, a previous draft of Satoshi's white paper published in August 2008 when, if compared to the official white paper, there are certain corrections made that were also visible on Wright's research paper. The evidence is shown below. So he essentially took the beta paper, so Project BlackNet. So I'm not going to really get into this so much. So we can see that Craig copied the official Bitcoin white paper abstract of October 2008 into his fake R&D paper, BlackNet, that he supposedly wrote for the government in 2011 or 2001. However, this scam attempt was not aware that Satoshi shared a draft of the Bitcoin white paper in August 2008. As we can see, there are plenty of corrections made in the final Bitcoin white paper compared to the draft. The fake BlackNet paper should have preceded the draft by a whopping 7 years. So you can see, like, it's basically the exact same thing as the beta paper, I guess, is the initial draft, if you will. So it's just, he just basically made it up. And just made a paper like, look, I made this paper a while ago. So this is to prove that Craig Wright published fake evidence in an attempt to establish his legitimacy as the real Satoshi. The reasons for wanting to claim to be Satoshi are obvious: fame and respect from all the members of the crypto space and technology industry at large. However, Wright was only released this new evidence on February 10th. If he was Satoshi and his evidence was credible, why would he have waited so long to release it? So probably just to pump Bitcoin SV, which makes a lot of sense because he owns a ton of it. So another thing that he has been doing lately is trying to attack privacy coins. So he's basically saying he went on CNBC Africa's Rand Nooner show that he knows how to kill Zcash and Monero. He said he was going to expose these anonymous coins sometime this year. I mean, like I could do it now, but I don't know. Maybe sometime this year. Maybe it's just like let's just put things off. Let's just like. October, I don't know, maybe I'll do it October or December, I don't know, maybe let's do it 2020, right? If you could expose it now, why wouldn't you? I don't understand. Like, if you have a privacy coin, I'll show you that's basically as private as running through Times Square with your pants around your ankles. Here's him like fighting so fair, but untrue. The conditions of disclosure are only relevant to the end user. It's fine line of terms and conditions, not by issue. If you use anonymous coin, a crime coin, as this is all they really are, you or many countries already committing a crime. So I would rather teach the feds how to stop this than a bunch of losers help criminals. So so Dr. Craig Wright at this point is clearly not Satoshi, right? Because Satoshi, just the way he wrote and what he believed in, or at least what the writing led us to believe, is that he was sort of anti-government, not necessarily an anarchist, really, but a true cypherpunk, I guess, if you would say. Trying to get away from the fiat system, hating on the banks and stuff. And I don't think Satoshi would bash privacy coins in that way. So here's a kind of funny thing. You could watch this, and so Craig Wright only appears about 45 minutes in or so, 46 minutes in, and it only goes for 5 minutes or so. So it's an interesting listen. But I want you guys to listen to this and how angry he gets inside. You can see it in his emotions and his body language, just everything, and how he shifts in his seat when this is brought up. So this is pretty much as much evidence as you need. Now, mind you, however, there is a weird case going on with the Dave Kleiman estate, with Dave Kleiman's family, and Craig Wright. That Dave Kleiman mined 1.1 million bitcoins. Interestingly enough, that's how many are in the Satoshi wallets, or at least approximately. But that doesn't necessarily mean you couldn't mine 1.1 million after Satoshi, considering the difficulty was incredibly low. But either way, there is a court case going on between Craig Wright and the Dave Kleiman estate over billions of dollars of Bitcoin. And I think the jury selection is going to begin like this summer. And that is in Florida, and so I will make sure that I look for that news and look for what comes out of that. So you'll see. So I'm sure a little bit of evidence will come out from that, whether it was like Satoshi's wallets or if they just mined it after it was already created or whatever, and like a year later. But it was said that Dave Kleiman and Craig Wright were mining together from 2009 to like 2012 or something like that, or 2013, something along those lines. So I suppose in that amount of time you could accumulate 1.1 million Bitcoin, but that's a different story. So listen to this, guys. This is quite interesting.
And Craig, why did you feel as part of the submission that you needed to add in the part where you created Bitcoin under the pseudonym of Satoshi Nakamoto?
Because if I'm going to go in there and give them truth, I'm giving them truth. So,
Craig, as far as I understand, the CFTC don't really take testimony under oath. They're not a court. They don't really take testimony under oath.
That's actually incorrect, and every submission is considered under oath. So just by putting that is actually under oath. Do we want to move on from this, or do I end it now?
Okay, hold on. Do you not want to talk about the submission?
Do you want to talk about the submission, or do you want to talk about that one little bit?
I've already
discussed this. You say it once more, it's over. Okay? I don't give a shit about your thing. I don't care about being on media, okay? You mentioned that one more time, I just click end. The end.
Okay, then let's talk specifically around the submission.
So yeah, he took the Satoshi thing and got pretty angry. You could see the heart rate was up, shifting in his chair. If you want to end this, clearly he doesn't want to talk about that, and he just wants to say that he's Satoshi without ever actually proving it. And that he'll just end any conversation. He doesn't care about being on the media or anything like that. Just a completely interesting guy in that way. So Markets were up a little bit today, and I don't have CoinMarketCap up just at the moment, but last I checked it was 134 billion, which was up a few billion since the other day, but not too many movements or anything like that. But that's about all I have for you guys today. Somewhat short amount of articles, if you will. After all, it is Sunday, and for some reason, crypto news stops kind of running on the weekends in the way that traditional news does for whatever reason. But either way, that's all I got for you guys today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video. That helps me out a lot. My social media in the description below. Follow me on those if you get the opportunity. But hope you guys enjoyed it. And as usual, I will see you guys next time.